Raleigh Housing, May 15th. Another episode of What the is happening in Raleigh. Okay, let's go. Today we're talking about what is happening in the Raleigh housing market, Wake County, Durham County, Cary, Apex, all around. Okay, so honestly, the market is starting to feel very different than it did even a year ago. And it's not crashing, it's not collapsing, but buyers suddenly have something they haven't had in years. Okay, so and that's options. I see it every day. I see it day to day. I'm buying and selling for clients, and the options, this changes everything. Okay, so over the last few weeks, we've been seeing inventory continue to rise in the Raleigh and the Triangle. Active listings in Raleigh Metro are now over 5,100 homes, which is a pretty major jump compared to where we were not too long ago. Homes are sitting a little longer. Median days on market in Raleigh are now around 44 days. In Wake County is around 41 days. I think Redfin data has some similar. So now we've been in North Carolina for a while. You might be thinking, if you've been in North Carolina for a while, you've been thinking like 44 days doesn't sound that crazy, but if you compare it to the insanity we had during the pandemic where homes were selling like in 4 hours with 37 offers and people were like waiving inspections and like naming their firstborn after the seller. Did you hear that story? It's kind of weird. But this is a very different market psychologically. So buyers are slower, sellers are nervous, and overpriced homes are getting punished pretty fast. Okay, so one of the biggest stories right now is price reductions. I even reduced one of my condos last week because just we had to. So according to realtor.com data, over 20% of listings in Raleigh had a price cut recently, and that's not normal for the ultra competitive market people got used to. Okay, so that's what's interesting in the attached housing as well, like condos and townhomes. Like I mentioned, they're getting harder. They're getting hit harder and harder than detached homes right now. People are kind of liking the detached more, I guess. Townhomes and condos in Raleigh are actually declining year over year, while inventory has jumped significantly. This is due to builders as well. Because if you drive around Cary, Apex, Holly Springs, Durham, like there's townhomes everywhere. Okay, and now buyers suddenly have choices. So if you see a townhome overpriced, that's a resale. People just move on to the next one, or they'll go to a new construction. The worst listings to have, like it's for somebody to call me and be like, hey, I want to list. I just bought in 2024, and that subdivision is still building. That's the worst one because you probably lost money. There's probably new construction townhomes exactly like yours selling for less than you need to sell it for, and builders are giving like 4.99 rates, 3.99 rates, and if you want to sell it, it's just almost impossible because people will go to the new construction because it's the same thing. Like yours has the same feel of new construction, like cookie cutter and all that. So it's happening to a lot of people. So let's keep reading here. This is where the market gets weird because Raleigh's still fundamentally strong. Okay, so people are still moving here. Tech's still here. Apple's still coming. Biotech's still growing, and construction is everywhere. But affordability is becoming absolutely brutal. Like those mortgage rates still being in the mid sixes, and just buyers are exhausted. Okay, so at $500,000 house today feels very different at 6.5 than 3% because it's exponential. Like you guys need to like from 3 to 4% is one thing. From 4 to 5 is a bigger jump than the 3 to 4, and we're at 6.5. Okay, so it's tough. That payment shock is real, and now we're entering this awkward phase where sellers still emotionally think it's 2021, and buyers are acting like it's 2019 again. And those two things do not mix well. Okay, so Durham also is seeing something similar. Inventory, there's reportedly over like 28% over year over year in some reports, and buyers are gaining leverage. Okay, that is a story. I could send it to you if you want. Just send me a DM on Instagram, add me on Instagram, or send me an email. Zillow also shows Durham homes values are down about 2.5% year over year. And Raleigh itself is down around 2.3% year over year, according to Zillow's latest data. Now, before people freak out, that does not mean that the market is collapsing or crashing. It just means we're finally getting to some normalization after one of the craziest housing runs in U.S. history. So, but psychologically, this matters because when buyers think maybe prices will be lower in 6 months, then they don't buy. They would like slow down or whatever. And when buyers slow down, the inventory rises more, and then sellers start freaking out and cutting prices more, and then that momentum shifts. Okay, so honestly, I think the biggest thing right now is uncertainty. Like nobody knows what rates are going to be. We have the whole Iran war thing. We have Kevin Warsh coming in, a new Fed chair. What the heck is he going to do? Are we going to keep printing money or not? Nobody knows. And buyers are becoming extremely payment sensitive as well. So I'm seeing way more negotiations happening now compared to even last year. So closing costs, rate buy downs, inspection report, repairs, and price reductions. So things that basically disappeared during the frenzy, the peak frenzy, are suddenly back on the table. So if you're a buyer, honestly, it's probably like the best market environment we had in many years. I understand that prices are somewhat high, rates are somewhat high compared to what we had before if you're comparing it. But you have a lot of power right now. You have a lot of options. You can actually think before offering. You can negotiate. You can compare homes. That was impossible not too long ago. I have a few buyers. I've showed them 24 homes, I think, and they still are not like super in love with one. So then they're like, let's go see some more. Sure, you have options. Okay, I'm driving more, but whatever. I mean, makes them happy, and then I'm happy. So now on the local development side, Wake County still feels like it's growing at a warp speed. So Raleigh Ironworks keeps expanding with new restaurants and retail concepts coming in. More restaurants are opening, happening all around the triangle, especially Cary, Raleigh, Durham. So it's this weird contradiction right now. The triangle economy is still strong, but the housing market momentum's cooling. And then honestly, that's probably healthier long term. I know I'm a real estate agent, and like probably real estate agents and lenders are like, bring the bring the rates down to 2% so I can make $1 billion a minute. But then what happens to everybody else? I don't know. I don't have the answer. I'm not smart enough to know what to do with rates, but maybe it is healthier in the long run, and we just need time and wages to catch up or whatever. So because what we had before wasn't really sustainable. So what I do think a lot of sellers they haven't fully adjusted yet. That's creating opportunity for buyers who are patient. The homes that are updated, staged well, priced correctly, they're still moving. I do see that, but the overpriced homes sitting there with like 2022 pricing expectations, they're getting absolutely reamed. They're getting smoked right now. I have clients that I didn't help them buy. I didn't know them then, but we met through Instagram and referral, and they need to sell their townhome. They need to sell it for like 460, 470 or something, but things are selling for like 420. And I'm like, I can't list it at 480. I cannot list it at 460, 470. It's not going to sell. It's just going to sit forever. You're going to think and then you're going to think I'm an idiot. I'm not an idiot. The market's telling us what's happening. And remember, if you put like really expensive floors and really expensive backsplash and really expensive blah, 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 matters a little bit with like when people go in, they're like they fall in love and it helps them choose your home instead of the other one. But you cannot like list it like 30K higher because it doesn't matter. It might not even price, and then you have another problem then with the bank. So overall, here's the vibe for the Raleigh market right now. So more inventory, longer days on market, more price cuts, higher rates, more cautious buyers. It's not a crash, but it's definitely a shift. And I think over the next 6 to 12 months, the big question becomes, do rates finally come down enough to bring buyers back aggressively? Or does inventory keep building and putting more pressure on sellers? I don't know. That's what everybody's watching right now. And honestly, I think this market's going to be looking very different by the end of 2026. And my only hope, I bring a lot of value. I'm in the trenches buying and selling for clients. So hit me up, give me a shot, add me on Instagram, and hopefully we can work together. See you guys next week. Bye.